Good evening, everyone. Thanks for tuning back into Healthy Tips Tuesday with your girl Latisse. I hope you're having an awesome day. I know that I am because I get to share some tips with you all. So let's get into it. This week on Healthy Tips Tuesday, the topic of conversation is setting personal boundaries. I look at it like this. If you're not setting personal boundaries, you're living a life without limitations. If you're living a life without limitations, you're saying that everyone else and their feelings in their life is more important than your own. And when you have that kind of mindset, what you're creating is people pleasing habits. And those habits can become very exhausting and can cause you to be very confused about yourself. And which was kind of where I was at for a very, very long time from like definitely high school and then to maybe my early 20s. And I got to a point where I felt like I was suffocating. I felt like I was so confused and I just did not know who I was, why I was doing some of the things that I was doing and where I was going. And it got to a point where like for me feeling that way, I wanted to know that information. I wanted to really know who I was. I wanted to understand why I was doing some of the things that I was doing, and I really wanted to really know my purpose here on this earth. Like, what am I here for? Because right now, at that point in time in my life, I just felt like, in the state of mind that I was in, I was just like, damn, like I'm just like not doing nothing. I felt worthless in a little bit. And I'm like, I'm going to school, but I don't even know if I want to do this. I'm in this relationship and this person I don't even feel good. They don't make me feel good about anything. I'm around all these people who are, we're always having a good time and having fun, but like, what I mean, like, what are we doing? Like, what is our next step in life? And these not so much, even for me thinking about everybody else's step, but what is mine? So it caused me to separate myself and focus and really be more serious about it. And I did not know anything about boundaries until I started separating myself. And I went to church one day and the pastor was preaching and he was, talking about spiritual boundaries and all these other things. And I was just, at first, I did not know what he was talking about. And then he started, getting more into detail and elaborating and everything like that. And I went home and because it's like, it really hit me home for me because it was like, what he's saying is if I do this, that it can create a peace of mind for me pretty much and a more of an understanding and a direction of where I should be going. So when I went home that day, I got on the computer. I Googled and I researched, boundaries and different and types of boundaries. And I was actually writing them down. And it really made me tune into myself. It made me tune into my feelings. It actually helped me to bring you guys to the first tip. The first step into creating boundaries for yourself is actually being more self-aware. You know what I mean? When you're more self-aware, you don't you it allows you to kind of like separate your thoughts and your feelings and also the thoughts and feelings of others. Because if you ever hear the saying, like, you can be your own worst enemy. And sometimes, those negative thoughts and always being in your head, like sometimes you have to do things, you have to kind of set boundaries for yourself. Like me, I used to think so many terrible things in my head, like, you can't do this, or, oh, they don't like you, oh, or you're not pretty enough, or you don't dress well enough, or all these crazy things. And my boundary for myself, one of the most important boundaries that will never leave me is always be positive. And I think I'm so positive that my friends, sometimes my friends tell me like, Tease, you just so optimistic. Like, I actually have my friends who tell me that on a regular basis. But, I laugh at it because it's like, I would rather be positive and you think I'm weird. You can think I'm too positive and it can even come off as being fake as hell to you. But I that is my boundary for to keep that negative thinking Latisse out of what's going on in my life or the positive things that's going on in my life now. So being self-aware is definitely the first step into setting, personal boundaries. The second step I would say is, you know, tune into your feelings and really like start thinking about the things that make you angry, that make you sad, that make you confused, or that just don't feel good to you overall, and just really write them down and start thinking about ways to create, like what boundaries do you need to create to allow yourself to not feel like this, not only from something with yourself or something that you're personally doing to yourself, or even with things that other people are doing to you too. My third and final tip is remembering that setting boundaries is about loving yourself and not being afraid to disappoint someone else by putting yourself first for once. That is all I have for you for Healthy Tips Tuesday. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for all the love and support, and I will see you next Tuesday.